we live in a twilight world. And I've got some good news for everyone. You are living in some sort of false reality, hollowed out, fully immersive film set. A giant theatre set, if you will, where everyone is just merely playing a role and nothing really matters in the end. You're kind of fucked either way, whether you participate or don't. So you might as well just, enjoy life and all the simple things. And, it's true what they say, man. All the best things in life are free. Walking on the beach, swimming in the ocean, sitting there in the sunshine, riding a bicycle around, a walk through the forest, all the good stuff out there is free. Anyway, let's move on to today's little presentation. Pyotr Stolypin. You ever heard of him? I reckon if you're from Europe, you've probably heard of him. If you're a bit of a history buff, you've probably heard of him. If you're just an average person in the Anglosphere, I don't know, the USA, Britain, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and so on, you probably haven't heard of him. But yeah, man, he's quite famous in Russian history. He was the Prime Minister of the Russian Empire. I don't know, around somewhere in the 18th century, beginning of the 1900s, he was put into position of power, and I think he's quite well liked because he brought in a lot of reform regarding farmland being much more in control of the peasants. So it meant that food throughout the Russian Empire was being managed better. But anyway, he was assassinated. Can anyone guess where he was assassinated? That's right, in the theatre. The Kiev Opera House, to be precise. So once again, one of these world stage characters killed in the theatre. Sound familiar? Of course it does. You had Abraham Lincoln, assassinated by John Wilkes Booth in the theatre. You also had Julius Caesar, who was murdered. I mean, this is allegedly, yeah? Allegedly, all of it. He was murdered on the stairs of the Pompey Theatre in Rome. So, once again, it's all theatre, right? Now, yet again, this to me is more evidence, if you will, smoking gun, excuse the pun, but a smoking gun, that we live in a false reality, and all of these world stage characters are actually just fictional characters. They're just people playing a role. Now, did this person really die in a theatre, or is this just their way of ending the character's role, and then they probably put him somewhere else? Or he retired, he went off into the next reality, and he'd fulfilled his task for whoever he works for, the hidden hand. I don't know. Maybe these are not real humans. Maybe they're just like 3D printed human bodies that are indistinguishable from real, and the jinn, or as the Christians say, a demon, can then inhabit these bodies and stand on the world stage and start directing humanity, and then for some reason killing off their character. It has a lot of power, right? Because us as humans, a big part of our psyche and our spirit is storytelling. And the people that are running the world show, the live theatrical performance that is the human experience, they understand the use of storytelling and theatre as a way to manipulate and guide everyday people, right? The real ones, if you will. It wouldn't work if, say, you woke up next morning and you just got a text message on your phone telling you that you now have to behave like this, this, and this in a new reality. It wouldn't work. We need to be, not me and you, because we're obviously, the fact we're talking about this stuff means we're very skeptical about the whole management of this realm and reality. But for the average person, you know, they follow the herd, and the herd needs to be steered. And a big part of, and the world stage theatre tactic, it works. Instead of just sending them a letter through the post telling them, like, from now on, imagine like the scamdemic, the coronavirus scamdemic. Imagine just a letter came through your door and said, yeah, there's a lockdown, there's a deadly virus, you're going to stay home, you're going to wear a mask, just written on plain paper. People wouldn't buy it. There had to be the whole theatricality of showing us images of people, you know, dropping dead in Wuhan, world leaders, you know, with bags under their eyes and their hair all fucked up, standing on the podium, looking like, you know, making out they don't want to put us under lockdown, but they are going to put, you know, it's all theatre and deception. Very powerful tools, in my opinion. I could also make the case that, say, for example, Martin Luther King, although he was killed at a hospital or whatever it was, or where was he assassinated? Was it a motel or a hospital? Or it might have been a motel next to a hospital. I don't know. But either way, he was standing on a balcony giving some sort of speech, right? Yeah, again, the whole balcony thing, you know, you think of Romeo and Juliet. You're talking to an audience, even like John F. Kennedy. I could argue, although it's not an opera house or a theatre building, he is still performing in front of an audience. This is very theatrical, right? Just in its essence, right? It's just, you know, so yeah. It's all theatre, in my opinion. And these characters are not real people. They are fictional characters. People merely playing a role. And that's, you know, and as to how that actually works, that's what's interesting. Like, is that a real human in there? Like, is it like a Truman Show situation? Does Kennedy or Trump or Musk or Putin, do they know that they're a star of a TV show or not? Is it completely unbeknownst to them? Or are they from a very early age prepped and said and been told and prepped and said, like, at some point you're going to play this character of a world leader, but once the cameras have stopped rolling and you're no longer in the White House or the Kremlin or whatever, you go and live a normal life. You're doing it for your country. You're doing it for whatever secret society, you know. You're doing it for the Freemasons. You're doing it for the Jesuits, whatever. Or is it, like I said earlier, a 3D printed human body that is being inhabited by a jinn or a demon or an archon or a reptilian, whatever terminology you want to use, but we're still talking about the same thing. Who knows? We live in a twilight world. There are no friends at dusk.